Hello everyone, I'm Elena, content creator at Social Insider. And today I have here with me Talbot, a freelance content marketer who has been featured in big publishing companies like Forbes or CNN. Thank you very much, Kate, for joining us. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna start by asking you, what can you tell us about you? How do you handle this freelancing business, and what tips do you have for those marketers that are watching us and think about starting a freelance business?
Definitely. Well, I'm so excited for everybody out there who is watching this, learning, building their brands, thinking bigger than where they are today. I know this whole last year, it's been a great opportunity to think about what you could do bigger, what you could do better, and that's why I am here to help you guys out. So just a little bit about me. Thank you so much for the introduction. I am Kate Talbot. I am based in San Francisco, born and bred in the Bay Area, so around tech my whole entire life, but it got really exciting in the life goes so fast. Last 2 decades, I would say, when consumer tech got really big with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. So my background is working in PR, social media. I did social media for huge brands like Kiva, which is microfinance, as well as Virgin America. So you might have seen that safety video. I was part of that crew that created it, and so many fun times. So I went from working in big brands, big companies, big corporations to then having my own freelance business. I work here in Silicon Valley with venture capitalists and startups from early stage, seed stage to Series B. And we'll get into that in a second. I just want to share what I do. I also am a writer for Forbes. I write a monthly column all about millennial marketing, the internet culture, and I get to interview incredible people like Maria Shriver, Richard Branson, Kourtney Kardashian, Addison Rae. And I love teaching people how to build their brands, do it on their own, and be powerful in their own space. So going off of that, I really want to share a little bit today about how you could build your freelance business. So again, I have done this for the last 7 years, all on my own. I don't have a wealthy partner. I don't have wealthy parents. I just have a belief in myself. And I know that you guys can do that as well. And it all starts with who you are, what you know you can achieve. And I know you guys can do that. So just a little bit about what you need to know to start your freelancing. I want to talk about a couple of different things. And I first want to start with, you need to know who your ideal customer is. I'm sure you guys hear this all the time, whether you're doing email copy, whether you're doing, social media, whatever it is, it also pertains here with your ideal customer, with who you want to work with. So if you look at the freelancing space, there's so many different freelancers out there. And I also want to recommend, before I get into my tips, because I think this is super helpful, is to really join groups like Freelancing Females is a huge one on Facebook, or freelancing groups on Slack or LinkedIn. Anywhere that you can find your people, go find them, because you're going to learn tons and tons of stuff when you're learning online. So I just want to get that out of the way so you guys remember to have resources while you go on your journey. So you want to be thinking about who your ideal customer is. As I said, there's freelancers of all sorts. So, within the freelancing writing space, I have a lot of friends who do B2B SaaS, long form content marketing. That's a huge one, because there's tons of B2B SaaS companies out there who need that long form content marketing. So they focus directly on writing. They focus on, building blogs, building thought leadership, building white papers, and that's only what they do. And so they've niched down and they thought directly about what they want to be doing, how they're doing it, and who their ideal customer is. I'll go to myself for a second. I work with social media strategy or marketing for venture capitalists. So I think about thought leadership, social media, and then for early stage startups, I do a lot of paid growth opportunities. So even though my background and my skill set is different, I'm thinking about who my target audience is. And those are venture capitalists and CEO startup founders that I know and I trust and I want to work with. So again, even though I'm not doing something specific like a B2B SaaS, I'm really thinking about the team. And I want you guys to think about that as well. It's not just, you want to work for the best company or the best brand name. You want to work with clients that are going to make you feel great about yourself, that are going to empower you as a freelancer and empower you to build your business and build your brand. So again, the first thing you need to do is understand who your ideal customer is and really hone in on that. So where do they spend their time? Are they on Twitter? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they at events? How are you going to network and find them? So the next part of my conversation I want to have with you guys is the online and the offline components of being a freelancer. So let's start with the offline component. So obviously this last year, not so many offline components, but I do believe that this is the best way to build out your personal brand and build out your freelancing business, is to create strong one-to-one relationships with deal makers and tastemakers within the industry you want to be working in. So what does this look like? So let's go back to my example. I, again, live in San Francisco. I love working with startup founders and venture capitalists. The great thing about venture capitalists is that they actually have a whole portfolio of companies that they work with, and they need marketing help too. So that's even going above. It's to think about not only am I building a relationship with them, but they also have access to other kinds of clients, and the list goes on. It's not just one relationship. It could be one down to about 20. So how am I going to find them? So here's what I do. I think about events. So down in Sand Hill Road is where all the venture capital firms are, and they have parties from time to time. It's really great to understand where you can find them and how to get in. So you want to find somebody who can get you into the events that have those change makers. You know, we have limited time, so really be strategic about the events that you're going to go to. There's a lot of events out there, I'm sure you see on Facebook or, you know, LinkedIn, and you don't want to be wasting your time going to events that aren't going to, you know, have the right people there, that aren't going to build to where you need to go. Again, when I go to events, I'm not transactional. I like to get to know people from a very pure and authentic place. A lot of these change makers and taste makers are very aware of how people can be transactional and what people want from you. So be authentic, be kind, and start to build a relationship. You know, you might not get a client the next day, but it might be a 6 months relationship that's gonna help you out long term. So again, my first piece of advice is go to events, meet in person, get to know the people from a truly authentic place, take them out to coffee, you know, and again, people don't want to talk about work all the time. Ask them about their friends, their family, where they go on vacation, stuff like that, that gets them to know and trust. Again, with anything out there, whether it's online or offline, it's all about that know, like, and trust factor. And so if they know and like you and want you to win, they'll go out of their way to help you out. So the first thing is going to like big events, getting a great roster. I'm a millennial, you might be millennial, Gen Z. I don't use business cards. I feel it's antiquated. What I do is I go right away on LinkedIn, connect with them, let them know where we met, and start the relationship there. And that will go into the online component of building your freelance business that I'll talk about in a moment. But really be thinking about not just meeting somebody, but how can you take that relationship further, whether that's, again, going on a coffee date or, you know, building that online component. So that would be my first thing about the events. Next thing I do as a freelancer, and this has helped me out, and I want to say that this is something that you can continuously do within your freelance career. You shouldn't just be doing it one and done. This is something that I think is really important. So I create a PDF. It's not my website. I do have a website. I won't get into that, but I create a PDF with my services and what I can provide. And then I create like a list about 20, 25 people within my own network that I know, either, again, to that VC, that venture capitalist who might have a lot of contacts, or somebody who's working in a big company, they might need one-off things. I create a list and then I email them, you know, again, authentic, truthful. Hey, you know, I'm slowing down a little bit in my freelancing business, and I have these services. Do you know anybody who needs help? Then I attach a PDF and I say, you know, I attached a PDF. It's very easy to just forward this along. Please let me know if there's anything else you might need from me. Now that's along the way, but if you're starting on your freelance business, you can make it so exciting and so much fun. You can say, hey, Steve, guess what? I am making the transition from that 9 to 5 into the freelancing world, and I truly want to make a mark out there, and I'd love for you to help. Now, one thing I want to pause with that is that people want to help others out. Like, that is an intrinsic thing that people want to do. If the other day I got a cold email from an intern, a college intern, and he needed help. Now, did I have the bandwidth to help him out for 30 minutes? No, but could I email him back saying, helping out just a little bit with something? That's what I did. So the thing is that don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Being a freelancer is about being bold and brave, and you have to do it. So put yourself out there, email your network, and say, I need some help. Now, again, let's go back to that PDF. I've attached a PDF with my services of what I can provide. Now, again, when you're starting out as a freelancer, you don't need a built-out website at this point. You just need to get your name out there and start building your client list. So attach that PDF, and you can track the emails, whether you use like Superhuman or Mixmax. Try and see if this is getting forwarded along, and then also follow up. You know, just say, you know, a week later, like, thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate you reaching out to your contact Was there anybody out there that needed help? Anybody else that I can follow up with? So really, when you start out with your freelancing business and how to build that brand, truly think about your first network around you and how they can help you out, because that kind of warm intros are going to have way more impact longer term than your social media and your online presence. But that your online presence is super important. So let's just talk about that as well. So of course, I work in personal branding. I'm all about that. And I am a huge proponent of using social media and your own personal brand with your Google results and all that fun stuff to be able to build your brand. So let's talk about your online presence, because that is so important about how you're going to be found on Google, how you're going to be found on social media, and what your positioning says about you. You want to be thinking all the time, going back to that original thing, who's your ideal customer and how are you going to position yourself? So whenever I get press outreach or anytime I do a podcast or anything like that, I'm always a marketing consultant in Silicon Valley. So that when people are looking for marketing consultant in Silicon Valley, I pop up because, hey, does anybody go to the second page of Google? I mean, I don't. So I really want to be making sure that my search results are out there and that it says Kate Talbot, marketing consultant. It doesn't change. It's the same thing over and over and over again, because people might be confused. Is she a social media strategist? Is she a freelance writer? No, she's a marketing consultant and she works in Silicon Valley with early stage startups and venture capital firms. So then when people are looking for that kind of stuff, it goes right back to what I need to do. And again, remember who your ideal customer is, what you're providing services for. And there's a lot of worksheets out there. Again, I really am pushing this because you really need to know who you're helping and why you're doing it and how you're going to help out in the market. So let's look at social media, which of course is my bread and butter. So when you're starting out with your freelance career and you're building your brand, again, we will talk about the website, but I do think that social media is easier friction and we're already on it. So start there. Again, LinkedIn, probably one of the best places you could start. And then go from there. Think about who your ideal customer is and where they live their life. So again, I work in tech. A lot of the venture capitalists are all on Twitter. They use like hashtag tech Twitter, hashtag VC Twitter. Not so many on Instagram, but that's not to say that you shouldn't be building up your Instagram. And we're going to get into that for a second. So let's go back to LinkedIn. So with LinkedIn, again, I know that the team here is so into LinkedIn and they've done so many great webinars and they do it because it makes sense. So LinkedIn obviously is a professional network, but now LinkedIn has kind of had that news feed, that kind of like Facebook feel. And that's a great place to put out your authentic self and to build your brand as a freelancer. So again, you can start off by posting that, you know, your business, you're starting a freelance business. Here's who you're going to service. Here are your ideal clients, and here's how to get in contact with you, whether that's direct messaging, a contact sheet, whatever that is. Just make sure that you're putting yourself out there. And you can't do LinkedIn as a one and done. You can't just say, oh gosh, I'm starting a firm and now I need to do this once and be done. No. You need a content strategy on LinkedIn, and you need to be thinking about how you're going to position yourself and how you're going to be that authority and how you're going to be that leader in the space. So what does that look like? So let's go back to our friends that are freelancers in the B2B SaaS space. So they're doing a lot of writing. So that's what's great about being a freelancer, especially in the marketing creative space, is that you have a portfolio. And we're going to talk about the portfolio when we get to the website. But the best thing is that you're going to have assets that you can share to your ideal customers. So for that B2B SaaS freelancer, what she can do is she can post on her LinkedIn, and here's a sample post. Hey, all you B2B cybersecurity fans, here is a new post that I did for my client XYZ, and check it out and let me know what you think in the comments about the cybersecurity hacks that are happening. This, 1,000-word blog post goes into a dive deeps into it and lets us know how to be safer. So what she's doing is really providing a way to communicate, because she asked, let me know what you think. She's highlighting what she's doing in the space, and she's saying, I'm a freelancer for cybersecurity in the B2B. So again, she's really thinking about her audience. You want to keep speaking to your audience when you're doing social media. It's so easy to get distracted, but keep going back to your audience, keep talking to them, keep understanding what they're doing. So I really recommend when you're building a personal brand for your freelancing business is to think about posting on LinkedIn about 2 to 3 times a week. Now, that doesn't have to be just a constant news feed. You could apply for LinkedIn Live, and you could do a live once a week, and that could be a part of it. And you do you cut out some video from that live, and then you repurpose it. Or if 2 to 3 is too much, think about, just responding to people, just being a communicator on LinkedIn. The algorithm is going to work to your favor. People are going to see that you're commenting, and they're going to be excited that you're part of the LinkedIn ecosystem. Again, on LinkedIn, you want to be professional. You want to have a great, in your profile, you want to have a great headshot. In your cover photo, you can talk, maybe you're speaking at a conference, whatever it is, you're really showing your authority there, or even you could say what you do. You can go on Canva and create some assets that will be helpful for you to highlight what you do and the services you provide. Also, in your about section, be really specific. So I actually started my LinkedIn saying, if you need any consulting services, please email me at my email address. I get to the point, and in my about, I don't talk about, what I've done so much in the past with my corporate clients. I talk about how I can serve clients that can find me on LinkedIn. So here's what I provide. I provide personal branding. I provide paid Facebook ads. I provide social media strategy. So I give a list of what I provide. And again, yes, my about bio talks about what I've done in the past, and it has like pizzazz, and it shows who I am. Again, that like, trust, and know factor. But it also shows my authority with, saying with social proof, like I've been on CNN or Forbes or whatnot. So what I really want to address there is to make sure that you're adding a personal and professional tone, showing what services you provide, and being creating content constantly, and having your face being shown. So people love to know who you are and connect with you that way. Next, let's talk about Instagram. So I think like Instagram is so big, especially if you're working with female entrepreneurs, millennials, Gen Z. They're truly on Instagram, and there's so many ways that you can create your personal brand and your freelancing business off of Instagram. I would say the first thing to do is think about the hashtags you're going to use. You want to be using 30 hashtags, and you could use like freelancing, marketing consultant, freelancer, B2B, SaaS, whatever your company is. Think about those hashtags. Put them in your notes section if you have an iPhone, and constantly be copying and pasting those into your posts. So the reason you're going to do that is because you want to expand your network. You want to be thinking about how you can find clients beyond your own network and get them to connect with you on Instagram and follow you. Again, everything I'm saying, it's not like you're going to get an Instagram follower and then you're going to get a sale, or they're going to want to work with you right away. You need to build that know, like, and trust factor. So how do you do that? So right now on Instagram, the number one thing I would say, which I actually think there's some really, really, really great content from consultants and freelancers, is using Reels. So Reels is the biggest thing on Instagram. The algorithm is going to help you out with that. And you can see some fun Reels out there, but you can talk about what you do as a freelancer, the tools you use, what you've learned along the way. Anything you can see is on Reels. So what I recommend, instead of me just talking to you, is for you to pull out your phone, look on the Reels section, and just swipe up and start to look at what people are doing within your space. And you can copy what they're doing. That's kind of the point of this whole TikTok Reels generation, is that you can copy what people are doing, put your own spin on it, but make it, it doesn't have to be reinventing the wheel, because there's like fun songs that people are using, or duets, whatever it is. But use the Reels to really talk about your business in a really fun, exciting way. The next one that I would think about with Instagram, which is really big right now, is carousel posts. So a lot of people are creating these posts, and you can create them in Canva. Isn't Canva great? So you can do that in Canva, and you can create, your thought leadership where people swipe through. For example, you could say, what do you want to know about being a freelancer in 2021? And then you swipe through, and the first one is, hey, we're all remote. I get my clients by doing webinars and connecting through lives. And then you swipe again. Paying taxes is the least fun part of being a freelancer, and then you can just go out there. But you want to create these content pillars of what you're going to teach and how you're going to make it fun. And of course, I didn't touch on this already, but you want to be able to have your brand colors and have them consistent. This is something you can easily do with Canva Pro. You don't need to hire somebody. You don't need to go above and beyond, but you want to start off with knowing what your brand colors are, and even having a logo. Again, Canva is my friend. You can just all in Canva, super, super easy. But when you're creating these carousels, or you're creating some branding assets, you want to have your colors down so that it's all consistent and it looks really nice. So with what's big in Instagram right now, Reels, carousels, and then stories. So again, as I keep saying, you want to be authentic. You want to show yourself. So try and be on stories every single day. And the easiest thing is to just flip that camera up and talk to the camera. And it doesn't have to be like your teaching them something big. It's just be like, hey, sitting down, here's my desk. This is how I work with my clients every day. I have 2 meetings today on Zoom, and the rest of the day I'm going to be putting together some materials for a client. So you just give them the background, and people, again, just want to connect with you and know what you do. Now, the reasoning why you're going to be investing in social media is not because you're going to get that client tomorrow. It's because people are going to see you, and you're going to show up, and you're going to keep on showing up. And so when people need some help, they're going to think of you, and that's going to be all inbound. And I want to say something. Every single thing I've done has been inbound. I don't really do any outbound marketing. I've been consistent in saying yes, and I'm truly a big believer in saying yes to any opportunity that comes your way, and it's through the consistency of social media. So I want to talk about a couple more things that you can do as starting out with your freelancer or continuing your freelancing business to become bigger. So a big thing right now is newsletters. I have my own newsletter. I love it. I built it out. I think I have about 5,000 subscribers now within a year. Super important to build out a newsletter or a podcast or some kind of own media that is yours, that helps out with SEO and helps out with building your own audience. So with my newsletter, I use Flowdesk, which is a big, great platform that I highly recommend. Other people use Substack, MailerLite, ConvertKit, Kajabi, whatever you want to use. Get started today. And the reason I say that is to do a weekly email is because you have so many tips and tricks. People want to learn from you. You want to be the authority in that industry, and you want to be consistent. I mean, I'm saying it over and over and over again, but really you just need to create content. So a new weekly newsletter goes out to all your people that you're building up in your email list, and people see you and they remember you. And this is a great way to promote, the kind of client work that you're doing. Going back to that B2B SaaS startup example, put some of those long form or pieces of content that you're putting in your portfolio out to your newsletter subscribers so they can see, and they can see your work. So having a podcast or having a newsletter or having a YouTube channel or a Facebook Live weekly, just whatever it is you decide to do, whatever your medium of choice is, choose it and execute and be consistent. Don't just start something and let it go. You need to keep going with it and be consistent. So again, I use newsletter, and I think it's a great way to connect with people. And when you have to sell or you need to let people know you're taking in more clients, you have a great list already there of people who know you, like you, and trust you. So then the next thing I would talk about is press. So press is a huge undertaking itself. I get about 100 press pitches a day since I write for Forbes, so I see a lot of it. But I truly want you guys to do something very simple. I want you to sign up for Help a Reporter Out, and that's a service that every day you're going to get some insights about what reporters need in the market. And if you can be easily checking it and seeing if there's anything you can speak on, reach out and be part of that. Hopefully, you'll get part of their press article. And, again, as I said earlier, you want to have that positioning. So it says marketing consultant in Silicon Valley. So that way, again, press is a great way to be seen in the market, to position yourself, and then for your Google results. So really thinking about press, you don't need to hire a $10,000 a month PR firm. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Just sign up for this service and be thinking about how you can get your name out there as a freelancer and get your name just as a way for people to find you. And another way on that is to be a freelance writer as well. So if writing is your thing and you're a freelance writer for, tech companies, you could also do freelance writing for publications. So that's what I've done. I started writing for Social Media Examiner since my background was social media. And then I took my insights and learnings to Social Media Examiner, which has an incredible reach. And then I took it to Forbes. So if you can become a writer, and you probably will have to do this for free or for like really minimal money, it's a great way to get your results out there. Again, it's all about this Google search and all about building that authority and saying yes. So when I did Social Media Examiner, they have like this incredible email list. And so I was #1 on Google search, all about Snapchat. I had like 10,000 shares, an article. And then people would come to me because I was a leader in Snapchat. I was one of the first writers all about it. So what happens is that then you speak at conferences. So then you're getting more and more audience. So again, you just have to say yes. You have to put in the time. It will expand. You say yes, and the more and more opportunities come. So that's truly where I think your freelancing career is going to go. If you are focused, you are passionate, and you believe in yourself, you can really do anything. And again, you just have to say yes. You have to be focused and streamline your processes. The one thing I want to end with is your website. So now I know a website seems like a huge undertaking. but I truly believe that you do need a website. And this is something that's like kind of highly contested within the freelancing world if you do or don't need one. But again, I'm the biggest proponent. You need to be searched. You need to show you need to be out there. So there's so many easy plug and play websites, whether that's Showit, Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, whatever you use, just go for it. And you can hire people. One thing I want to add too is when you're building your business, you do need help, and don't try to do it all on your own. You can hire a virtual assistant. You can go on Upwork. You can go on Fiverr. There's so many different ways to be able to build your freelancing business with help, and it won't be super expensive. So with your website, again, I think you need to showcase a couple of things. One is, let's go back to the ideal customer. Who are you helping? Who is going to be that person that you want to be helping, and how does that live on your website? So is that copy on your hero image that says helping female entrepreneurs build their brands using social media? Yes, that's probably something great to have, because when people come to your website and they're not a female entrepreneur that are building their web business using social media, then they're not your customer, and that's okay. But you need to be focused on who your customer is and how you're servicing them. Another thing that I would truly add is social proof, and that goes back to getting that press. You really want to keep getting press or speaking at conferences, whatever you need to do to build that authority, because again, there's so many freelancers out there, there's competition. So you really want to showcase why you'd be the best person to help them out. Then testimonials. You want to get those people, those clients you worked with, to give you those great insights, why people should work with you, and feature those as well. And then again, as I said earlier, you want to just easily lay out what your services are. So when people come on your website, they can see your services, they can see your clients, and you could create case studies as well. That's something that people want to have, is case studies to showcase what you've done in the past, how you've helped them out, maybe you 50x their revenue, whatever it is, you need to be showing what you're able to do. So in conclusion, I hope this conversation helped out today. I really want you to remember, as freelancers, it's an uphill battle sometimes, but it's totally worth it, right? Because we get to live our lives the way we want to. We get to be free. We get to choose our clients. We can say yes to opportunities, and guess what? We can say no to clients we don't like. So what I want you guys to remember, especially as we transition it into an online and offline world, is to really build authentic, great relationships, being authentic, and then also being consistent in the online world too. Creating content, being strategic about who you're talking to, what kind of content as well in the algorithm, how you're going to show up on social media. All these things relate back. And the best part is you're going to do this. I'm so excited for you guys out there. And then you're going to have a great bank account. You're going to be able to live your life. You can go travel. You know, things are open. And you can just enjoy your life, because, hey, why be a freelancer if you can't be free? So connect with me on social media at Kate Talbot Marketing, katetalbotmarketing.com. And please let me know if you have any questions, and I'm here to help.
Thank you very much, Kate, for this helpful information. There were a lot of tips you told us about, and that marketers can draw information and apply. I just want to sum up very quickly our discussion. So basically, if you want to start doing freelancing, you can first of all know your audience, try to connect with people, use LinkedIn, because this is a very powerful platform for professionals. Instagram as well, if this works for you, of course. Try stories, carousels, reels, and very important thing, have your own earned networks, like a website, as Kate told us. Okay, so that would be all for this webinar. Thank you guys very much for being here today with us in this Social Talks episode. Follow Kate on social, follow us as well, Social Insider. And stay tuned for the rest of the episodes that are coming in our conference. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.